Hey everybody, I am here this afternoon to talk a little bit about some slug loads, rifled slug barrel Sabot rounds. The restrictions here in Ohio around modern gun season for deer require either a straight-walled cartridge like a 44 Magnum or 4570 or a shotgun. So I happen to have a 12 gauge slug barrel for my 870, and I wanted to develop some of my own slug rounds, and particularly Sabot rounds. I have, as some people pronounce it Sabot, they're wrong. It's French, it's pronounced Sabot, and Ballistic Products sells a Sabot. This, you can see the fingers here. I'm going to fold one of them out. These are actually designed to hold a 50 caliber projectile, and they have some very limited load data. If you purchase those Sabots from them, they'll actually publish this document and send it to you via email. I had to request it. It didn't come with the packaging, but it gives you some load data. I think it's predominantly Hornady 350 and perhaps, let me take a look, 350 and 500 grain Hornady XTPs. And I ended up purchasing some Sierra 350 grain bullets, and they perform fantastic. I went out and tested them with a friend of mine today. They're gonna behave almost identical to the Hornady in terms of ballistics. They have the same external diameter, very similar geometry, and really the load bearing surface on this is the Sabot, not really the bullet. However, you can have some fluctuations, so you want to look for signs of pressure or overpressure whenever you're doing some load development. And so I use the 350 grain Hornady load data. I also, just to play around, loaded a couple of other rounds that are cast load data, or cast load bullets rather. So here is a 50 caliber Smith carbine bullet. It's actually, Smith carbines run about 5.15, so 0.515 inches. This does not seat very well in that Sabot, and so accuracy wasn't really that fantastic. This is a 50 caliber mini ball, or Minet, again, designed by a Frenchman. This actually behaves pretty well. Ironically, the point of impact is significantly different from the Sierra. So the Sierra hits probably 6 inches high at probably about 40 yards, and that's about the distance we were shooting today. And this shoots low and to the right about 4 or 5 o'clock, probably about 7 inches from center. So point of impact does vary from load to load. That's something to be aware of. Even loads that appear pretty similar, these are within about 10 grains of one another. This is about a 360 grain bullet with the alloy that I'm casting. This is a 350 grain bullet. So for deer hunting, I'm going to stick with the Sierra. For plinking, I'm actually going to use this 50 caliber mini. What's really cool is I had retrieved some of the fired Sabots and wanted to see if maybe I could recycle them and shoot them again, and I did. And at 40 yards, I was hitting a steel plate. So just for practice, to keep costs down, go ahead and reuse them. I wouldn't recommend reusing one for actually hunting game because of potential inaccuracies that could occur, and you probably won't get more than one firing out of it. But anyway, I've been able to refire them and had good success so far. Ballistic Products recommends that you use brand new hulls. Unfortunately, because of the high demand on ammunition right now, you can't get once fired hulls anywhere. So I'm using some hulls that I had laying around, which are, these are Estate hulls. They're a paper base wad with a straight hull design, so they don't have a taper in them at all, which is better for loading slugs. The other thing that I have here is what Ballistic Products recommends for the wad underneath of the Sabot. So this is their FS12 wad, and so how this is going to be assembled is like so. So you'll have your powder, your wad, your Sabot, your bullet inside. And I'm actually following with a crimp. They recommend a roll crimp. I'm gonna do a fold crimp because these had been fold crimped in the past, but I found it's pretty difficult to try to roll crimp something after it's been fold crimped. So that's the route we went. At 40 yards, we were getting about 2.5 inch groups probably. So more than adequate for the ranges I'm shooting, and I was pretty pleased with the results. These I'm loading for probably less than $1.50, and you compare that to the cost of a loaded Sabot slug. They start at $2.50 if you can find them. I know guys have been paying upwards of $5 a shot, and so this is a lower cost option to get some practice and then get ammunition when you can't buy anything anywhere anyway. So pretty pleased with the results. I'm using 21 grains of Hodgdon International. I'm using Winchester primers, so W209 primers. And a couple of things worth noting is I am pre-stressing these pedals. So I'm not doing a full, I'm not bending them all the way out, but you can see I flared them. So this is what an unflared one looks like. This is what a flared one looks like. So I'm pre-stressing them slightly, then I'm pushing them back together, like so. I'm placing the bullet in there. And it might be tough to see, but it is not fully seated there. What I'm now gonna do, let me try to adjust this without dropping the phone. Hopefully you can see this. I'm putting this in a lubricizer. You could do this manually or with a press. I am actually pushing that down so it is now flush with the base. It's completely flush. And I have found that that delivers superior accuracy. So that's one watch out. I'm going to quickly go through and load one just so that we can have that on film. But let me go ahead and adjust down here. All right, so we've got a once fired hull right here. So we're going to pop that primer out and resize the base. That's what this first station does. I'm going to take an unfired primer, new primer, pop that in there. With slugs, you always want to weigh your individual charges. They recommend against doing a dropped powder charge. I'm weighing this out to exactly 21 grains. And that is 21 right there. I'm going to use my little powder funnel. I realize that you can't see that very well. So, one of the things to look out for here is you want to increase that mouth a little bit. So I use the funnel as the start, and then I've just got a tool here that I'm just doing a couple spins. I'm not going crazy, and the reason I'm doing that is this FS12 wad. If you don't do that, you can actually fold over the base of that wad, which is your gas check. So if you don't have a good gas seal, you'll get gas cutting around that wad. You won't get the desired velocity. You're unlikely to get desired accuracy as well. So I just pushed that down in there. I was careful to make sure that I didn't damage that gas seal. And I just got a dowel here. And I'm going to push that down manually to make sure it's good and seated. I'll follow up with the Sabot that we pressed our bullet down to the base. Again, just manually push it in there. Apply pressure. And now we're going to come over and we're going to go ahead and do our crimp. Pull that down so hopefully you can see a little bit better. Yeah, you can see it. So we started our crimp. We're going to go to the next station. Got the full crimp, and then we're just going to do our final, crimp right there. And here we have a fully loaded Sabot shotgun slug. So that's what I had to share. I will share also a picture of the accuracy that we were able to achieve with it today. And we were shooting iron sights off of cross sticks. So this wasn't a really precision attempt at accuracy. It was just to see, do we have a good load? And then from there we can shoot on a scoped rifle and really sight things in. But so far so good. Hope you enjoyed. Everybody take care. Bye.